This is the Skewered Fencing Scoring Box. On the front, you can see the large display. That displays all of the information, the indicator lights, and so on. We'll see that in a minute. And then on the back are all the connections. There's the red and the green connections for the left and right fencers. There's a power connection. There's also a connection for a grounded strip. And then there's a serial connection for connection to a video replay system or external wired repeater lights. There's also power on the top, a few hardware buttons for configuring or pairing remotes, and then on the bottom there's a micro USB connection, usually used for firmware upgrades, but can also be used for power from a portable power bank. All right, let's hook this up. All right, let's power it up. Box powers on into the last weapon mode that it was configured in, saving any previous state like scores or things. You can configure from the remote which weapon mode it's in, and you're ready to start fencing. You can have the fencers plug in, fencers test. You see the timelines displayed there on the bottom. If you have a paired repost action, you might see something like this. You can review the timeline if it went by too quickly. Scroll back to see more history. You can see the parries in the center there with the orange, then red hit, then there's more blade contact, and then green hit right before the end of the lockout period. Late hits are shown. In this case, they're 1 millisecond late. It'll show later hits, 37, 38 milliseconds late, or up to almost a second late. In Saber, whip overs are also shown. The box also allows you to keep score. It indicates who scored last, both by the blinking and the little blue arrow. So the arrow persists there so that spectators can see who scored last, even if they missed the director's call or the blinking. You can run the timer. Of course, the timer will stop when any hits are made. You can assign cards, yellow cards, cycle through for each fencer. In épée and foil, you also have the passivity timer down at the bottom that is automatically incremented while the clock's running. If there's any action, then it will reset the passivity automatically. On the other hand, if any P cards are assigned, then it will also automatically reset the passivity clock. In foil and épée, you also have the period indicator that is automatically incremented if the time runs out. So if we set the clock to 3 seconds left, have that expire, and then you can do the 1 minute break, but then once that's reset, then the period increments to the next section. If you run out of all 3 periods and you need to assign a random priority, then you can automatically do that. It sets the clock to 1 minute. If you need to toggle the priority because you did a coin flip or some other mechanism for priority, you can toggle that, or you can just turn it off. You can also enter the menu system. The menu system shows the current strip that it's configured for and the corresponding remote ID that it will respond to, remote charge level for whichever remote it's active, and then a variety of configuration options. You can see the system information, and if you're plugged into a computer for a USB firmware update, you can reboot to the update mode. That's it. Thank you very much. Enjoy fencing.